welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us for another edition in the series of the Parts of Me Breast Cancer Calendar conversation. And as you know, this is an opportunity for us to really begin to think about what does it mean to have breast cancer and the impact that it has, not just for the individual woman, but for those around her that love and care for her. And so today I have the wonderful privilege of having Sharmaine and Dayna with us. And so, yeah, we look forward to where we're going to travel to on this conversation. So welcome to you both, and thank you for joining me on the couch here so that we can just begin to talk about the conversation and just share something of, you know, the two of you's journey with this. So yeah, just to kind of kickstart us and get us going, tell us a little bit about you two's relationship post-diagnosis, or pre-diagnosis I should say.
Pre-diagnosis.
Yeah.
Pre-diagnosis, we were in a very different place to where we are now.
Okay.
I would say 100%.
Definitely.
Pre-diagnosis, we weren't as close as we are now.
Right.
We were very much like a mother and daughter who had a very love but not like you very much relationship.
Right. As many do, let's be honest, as many do. Most mother-daughter relationships go through some form of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Dayna was 22 at the time of my diagnosis and finding her own feet with many things in her life. So I think there was challenges between us. That kind of like made the relationship quite a bit rocky at times.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah.
Dayna,
yeah,
as well?
definitely.
Okay.
It was a difficult relationship then, I would say.
Right.
I think just understanding each other and me trying to grow and develop as a young woman.
Right.
And that not always aligning with my mum's way of encouraging me to be the best version of myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So then tell me a little bit about how you kind of came to the diagnosis, and were you kind of aware of it before you shared it with Dayna?
I think when I found the lump and went to the doctor, I think I informed Dayna all the steps along the way, didn't I?
Yeah, I think so. From what I remember, because it was a long time ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I vaguely remember being kind of told that you'd have found the lump and that you were going to see the GP. Yeah.
Right.
And then from the GP, going to hospital and clinics, and you came with me to the initial time when I was diagnosed.
Yeah. I remember going to the hospital appointments, not the GP appointments.
You came to the hospital appointments. She was, even though it was a kind of relationship, there was like support and empathy there for what I was going through at the time. Yeah.
So what kind of fears were going through your mind at the time? Do you remember?
For me, to be honest, even though I went to the hospital with a lump, I never for one moment thought I was going to be diagnosed with breast cancer.
Right.
So in that sense, there was a fear of, yes, it could be breast cancer, but really at the back of my mind, it wasn't something that I really thought was present.
Right.
So it was kind of very much the shock of my life.
Right.
When I was diagnosed, and at the appointment, I think when I was told by the consultant I had breast cancer, I just cried.
Right.
And Dayna, you cried as well, didn't you?
We
both cried.
So you were both together at that time?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so we both cried, but I just felt at the time, I thought I needed to sort myself out and be brave,
right?
Because I think Dayna being young, 22, and also at the point her dad was quite ill as well at the point.
Right.
So it was very much, I didn't want to burden her as
Right.
well. And I think that protective mother instinct came into play, where I just felt, oh, I have to protect her from this.
Right.
So,
And
yeah.
so for you, there was clearly a lot going on for both of you, and you know, your mum was sharing that she was trying to protect you. So what was going through your mind at the time?
To be honest, I don't think that I had capacity to process everything that was happening
Right.
at the time. So I just remember having so much going on. My dad being unwell, I think I was just qualified at university, so I'd probably just started my new job.
And what
So
was that in? Tell me.
nursing.
In
Yeah,
nursing,
so
okay.
starting a new job and finding my feet in my career was navigating that, and
Right.
then navigating my mum finding out that she had cancer. I think I found, not because it wasn't a visible diagnosis,
Right.
if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
And my mum was well
Right.
in herself. There wasn't any signs of her feeling unwell. She wasn't frail. There wasn't any sickness, nothing.
Right.
And I think that also made it a little bit harder to
Right.
process and to understand.
Okay.
Because there
So
was
given
nothing.
you'd done the training and that, do you think that was a help or a hindrance as a medical professional?
In some ways, maybe a help with. I remember there was a time when her temperature was high when she was having chemotherapy.
Right.
So automatically, my nursing background
Right.
head was on in
Right.
that respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for things like that, it was good. But
Right.
in terms of, again, with there being no visible signs of illness,
Right.
within my field, it's people are always ill when they come
Right.
to us. There's always some kind, especially in the field that I work in, there's always
Right.
some kind of visible illness.
Right.
And because, like I said, my mum was well in herself,
Okay.
again, that made it a little bit more hard to process.
Right.
And so my nursing brain didn't really engage in that respect, because cancer wasn't my field of nursing or
Right.
anything like that. So yeah.
Okay. And so how, when you were, as you started to then go forward with the different types of treatment, how did that start to change the dynamics in your relationship then?
I think Dayna's always got my back, always encouraging me,
Right.
always saying, come on, Mum, you can do it, even, you know. So I think I had a lot of encouragement.
Right.
You know, it was always, you can do it. You know, when we went for chemotherapy, it was always, you know, knock off, you know, strike another one off the calendar.
Right.
You've
Right.
only got, you know, 3 more, 4 more to go. So
Right.
it was very much that encouragement, and, you know, always got my backbone basically.
Yeah.
So always the encouragement was there. When I was sick and throwing up, it was like probably wasn't very empathetic then.
Right. Tell me about that then.
The bucket was given to me and it was like, get on with it, mother, sort of thing.
I guess when you've seen 1 sick, 2 sick, 3 sick, yeah. Did you find you had empathy fatigue?
I always say to Mum that I feel like at that time I wasn't as maybe kind as I could have been.
Okay.
Which was one of the things that I feel like I look back on and I think, oh, I could have been a better daughter in that respect.
Mm.
And I don't know why I was that way at the time. I don't know if it was just that there was, like I said, there was just that much going on
Right.
that I wasn't able to give any more of myself.
Right. And I wonder if there was maybe something about the fear, you know, when I asked earlier on, you know, unconsciously when we're afraid, you know, our behaviours can often show up in lots of uncaring type ways because we are trying to just cope.
Yeah.
And I think as well, because it's not a visible thing. So if it was like, it was more, you know, a visible ailment, you know, you could see that maybe I broken my leg or something like that, I would have probably got a bit more empathy. But it was a bit of tough love, wasn't it? It was, it was a bit of tough love.
Yeah.
Not uncaring, but just tough love.
Right.
Yeah.
So, between you, what would you say were the hardest moments?
I would say probably your mastectomy time.
Yeah.
Right.
The hardest moments.
Right.
I think that was then the first time it was a real. It was very real before.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me on the outside looking in, there was a visible change.
Right.
And that happened. You had your mastectomy before you had your chemotherapy, didn't you? If I'm right in thinking. You had the lumpectomy, I remember.
I had a lumpectomy. We went away on holiday. Then I came back for surgery. It was surgery first.
Yeah.
You had your surgery first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think definitely for me it was the mastectomy.
Right.
For me, we, as I said, we went to the my appointment for my surgery. Dayna took me. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning. You took me to that appointment, and I just remember everything came out. I just hollered,
Right.
and I think that, you know, when you're feeling that pain, that cry,
Yeah.
that was it. And you know, I always say walking down that corridor to enter the unit was like walking down the Green Mile. Like, you know, it was walking down the Green Mile. It was very much traumatic. It was really traumatic, and waiting for my surgery was traumatic.
Right.
After the surgery, actually looking at myself was something that I found really, really hard.
Right.
And I think it's definitely a grieving process. I grieved for my breast.
Right.
And I think before that, you used to say, "Oh, Mum, you got a good rack there, didn't you?" Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we used to, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think for me, my breast was my best asset. And coming to terms with actually losing my breast was really, I suppose, maybe the worst part of my
Right.
journey. As I said, it was very much, I went through a dark place, didn't I? I went through a very dark place. Everything was negative. I mean, I think just having the surgery, having to look at my body, the change in my body was like, you know, I just remembered like peeping, really,
Right.
just, you know, just having a peep at the scar.
Yeah.
And like each time having another peep until actually the dressing came off.
Right.
And actually seeing what it looked like. And I had never seen anyone with a mastectomy before.
Right.
So yeah, so that was hard. And I think, you know, breast cancer, definitely in our community, it's not talked about.
Right.
So you wouldn't know anyone that had breast cancer.
Right.
I think after my diagnosis, I was hearing about other relatives that had breast cancer, but not known anybody.
Yeah.
So it came as a big shock. You know, shopping afterwards was like everything that you saw in the shops was very low neck.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
that was kind of like made me feel negative as well.
Yeah.
Shopping for underwear, bras. We kind of made our own bras to put pockets in, because it's very much like I used to have bras from Marks and Spencer's, lovely frilly bras, and then you come to have a mastectomy, and then there's nothing there. It's a change. There is absolutely nothing
there, and what there is there is 10 times the cost of everything else that you're used to buying.
Yes. So there wasn't anything there. So definitely swimsuits and things like that. We tried to adapt ourselves so that we could, you know. So those negative points, it was like everything that you looked at was
Right.
negative. No bras, no
Yeah.
no fashion, clothes, so yeah. And
So
also you felt that everybody stared at you.
right. Yeah.
You felt that obviously, if you tell someone that you got breast cancer, the first thing they're going to do is look at your breast.
Right. Right.
And when they look at the breast, they're trying to think which side is it.
Yes.
Wearing a prosthesis and getting my breast level
Right.
was very, something that kind of like really irritated me. If
Yeah.
I would ask, do I look all right
I'm a
all the time?
balanced.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a
yeah,
balanced.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I hear that.
definitely.
I remember that
So
being
tell
the
me
darkest
a
time.
little bit how you reflect on that time when your mum was going through that, and what was that like for you as her daughter?
Yeah, I remember that being a really, really dark time for my
Right.
mum. Yeah, I
Right.
found that really hard because she was almost like a shell of herself,
Right.
and that was hard to watch and see. I think definitely the hardest part for me as well. Yeah, because you were confident before
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
you had your cancer.
yeah,
most
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about there's something about the just that notion of what defines us, what defines beauty, what defines femininity, what defines it to the outside world. It's a body part. And I remember when I was diagnosed and went through my treatment, people say, oh, but you're alive, thank God you're alive. And of course there's that sense of gratitude for being alive,
Definitely.
but I still lost something that
Yes.
is significant to my identity as a female, as a woman, as having carried children, and whether you did or you didn't breastfeed, you knew that your breasts were going to be able to, if you so choose to. And now
Yeah.
you're telling me I've not only got breast cancer, but the treatment that you're going to give me is going to mean that I'm going to lose one of those. And
Yeah.
that whole notion about what defines beauty and femininity really comes into sharp focus for us, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's as if you have to look at your body and think, okay, well, I've got no breasts now, or what is what is my next best asset?
Right.
So yeah, that's what you kind of have to look at
Mm.
to kind of like think, I'm still feminine.
Right.
What is
Right.
my femininity now?
Yeah.
And I wanted to come back to a point that you made earlier about particularly the conversations in our community, which, again, this series that we're going through is to raise the profile, to raise, our awareness, to bring out those conversations that we're not having. And I find it really interesting that you said after diagnosis, and I don't know whether we become more aware of people sharing in a way that we didn't necessarily because it wasn't us, or is it we kind of give permission to people to start to share once they hear that we have it? What's your thoughts on that?
I think not being in that kind of arena at first, because you kind of are away from the breast cancer.
Right.
It's not touched you.
Right.
So once it's touched you, then obviously looking for people that you can identify with. For me, in the waiting, when I was going for my treatment, I'm sitting in the waiting room. I can't see anybody that looks like me.
Right.
Then I started meeting people and going for coffees, and someone that was the same as me, same age as me,
Right.
same culture as me, and we went for coffees and things like that. So up till today we're still close friends.
Right.
So it's very much that she was my other person that I could identify with.
Right.
I think along the journey, like I went to is it look good, feel better. You would see other
Yeah.
women, and they also did talks at the hospital. I think one particular one that I went to was about reconstruction,
Right.
and there was a a black lady there that actually showed me what her reconstruction looked like, and that was the first time I thought I saw, you know, someone's reconstruction, someone with a reconstructed breast. And I think for me that was very much something that was welcomed, good for someone to share, because I'd never seen that before. And so I think looking at there wasn't anybody else I could identify with. I think now, 15 years down the line, there is quite a lot more people that you can identify. For example, part of the project that we're doing here, we're having this discussion, and I think talking about breast cancer, people still don't talk about it, and then when you meet someone and you share your story, then they're happy to open up about their journey. And I think then maybe they're at a different stage in their journey, and you can then support and encourage. It was, you know, tips and things that you find along the way, you can share with others, and also other people have got their experience that they can share with yourself. So it makes you more aware, clued up on what you're entitled to. I think one part of my journey that was the wigs. I think
I'm laughing because I had my own experience with the wigs. But
I remember we went all the way to Bromsgrove to get
I do remember,
to get fitted with a wig, and I think that was like frustrating for me, because it was very much, I've always worn my hair short for the very longest time, and having going there to be fitted with a wig, it was very much a Caucasian style, and that was not me, so it did not fit in with my culture and my identity. So it didn't fit in with me. So again, that was a struggle. We kind of like went through a lot of wigs, didn't we? And in the end, we found one that was suitable. Was the best. But I don't remember. I didn't wear it that often. Because it didn't make me look like me. I think again now there is a lot more choice. Maybe a lot more places that they can go to. So again, yes, it's come along. You know what? Say,
it's come a long way since.
It's come a long way. Yeah. Definitely. People are more open and willing to share, I think now. Still not as much. But again, it's not out there. It's in conversation. If you have a conversation with someone and you share that you've had breast cancer, they will then share. And I think as well, it depends on where someone is in their journey.
Absolutely.
You know, because I remember when 15 years back, I didn't really want to talk about it. So I do understand if people don't want to share that. But now I think I'm 15 years. I'm
talk to anyone now, isn't it?
Talk to anyone. Definitely.
That's real. I'm really kind of taking that in, because there's a couple of things that you mentioned, particularly about once you started to go to the hospital and started to go to the different sessions that you had to go to, you came about somebody that then you found a connection with, that you could share with, and that felt that was your kind of go-to place. But what about for you? Who and what was your go-to in terms of talking about what was happening for Mom?
I think mine would have been my best friend.
Right.
Yeah, it would have been Michelle.
Yeah,
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah, she was my sounding board, and if I needed to just go out, Michelle would be the person that would just take me out to take my mind off things. Yeah, and I could just talk to her about the things that were happening, how my mum was, how I was.
Yeah.
Because I'm mindful about how challenging it can be in that you're both doing this protecting thing. You don't want to overshare. You don't necessarily want to, speak with your mum and tell her how you're feeling or what
Yeah.
your worries and
Yeah,
concerns
yeah.
are, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that you both kind of found spaces where, you could do some of that sharing, which is, I guess also what we're creating through the project of creating those spaces that women can come into where people do look like them, where they can share their stories, where as you will know, Charmaine, in our group we still have women that come to us to say, they've not been given the right information. It was at the group where I was able to find out, as your mum rightfully said, oh, did you know that you could get a prosthesis every year? Well, no, I've had the same prosthesis for nearly 10 years.
Oh.
And, again, you don't know what you don't know, right? And I know we're not the only project that's out there that's looking at supporting women who are of African and African Caribbean heritage, which is what our project is exclusively for. And that's because for some of the reasons that you shared, Charmaine, in terms of we're not having those, still not having those kind of open conversations that we need to have. And I wonder why do you get a sense that it feels more difficult in our community?
I think coping, everybody copes by themselves, I think. I think, and our parents never talked about certain things. I think there must have been breast cancer around.
Right.
And definitely having had breast cancer, you hear people talk about their parents that had breast cancer, who had mastectomies and that sort of thing. But again, it was very much closed. Not something that you would talk about outside. I wouldn't have an older person talk to me about breast cancer. Only now when you hear certain cousins have had breast cancer, or that my auntie had breast cancer and she'll talk to me now, but I was diagnosed first. So I mean, I think she had it in say, I don't know, about maybe 5 years ago. So she'll ask me questions now, but I think maybe, and tell me who in the family had breast cancer. But I think before that, no, we didn't have that conversation.
Yeah. Big people talk. So you didn't really get to have those experiences. And I think, again, maybe, again, generational difference, the challenges that they themselves went through. And for some of us women in that generation, their experience wasn't great.
No.
They weren't treated great. So, maybe some of that fear was coming through to not share, because if the generation coming up was going to experience that treatment that wasn't great, they didn't want that for us.
And I think cancer is very much seen as a life sentence, isn't it? So you don't want to talk about it. And those ladies of our elders who have survived breast cancer, you don't hear about, you still don't hear about their good stories. And I think that's something that, for us to look up to think, I mean, you're hearing about my story 15 years later, so there's other people that's had cancer 30 years ago and that sort of thing. And those are stories that we could also look up to know that, okay, I'm going to be here in another 30 years because perhaps they are. So
and thankfully we have women in the group that are of that generation that are going to be sharing with us. So it's really important that we do hear those stories and what were the challenges to being able to share some of what they went through, particularly for those who came over in the 50s in the Windrush year. Wasn't it enough already to deal with, I've traveled all the way over here and now I'm trying to forge a life for myself in what often was a hostile environment, and now you're telling me I'm sick and I've got to try to navigate this NHS system, and how do I do that when I've got children to think about. So So what about now? Tell me about how the two of you are now. What's the relationship now? I see all these lovely smiles that keep coming up. Tell me about the two of you now.
Oh, we're good now.
We've come a long way,
Right.
and I think as Dayna being an adult and a mother herself,
Right.
life experiences.
It's the grandchildren. The grandchildren will seal the deal for me.
They always do, the grandchildren, don't they?
So I think we've come a long way, and it's been a journey, but I think
We're more like friends now, aren't we?
yeah,
Right.
yeah. You know, I still get daily encouragement from Dayna.
Right.
You know, anything that I do, for example, the ab sale, I said to Dayna, "Oh, I'm thinking of doing this. Go for it, Mum." So it's like, go for it,
Do
Mum.
it, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, even though I have doubts in my mind about
Right.
my ability to do certain things, Dana's always there pushing me along, saying,
Right.
"Yeah, Mum, you go for it. You can do it." You
Yeah.
know. So yeah.
I'm very much like, you've been through cancer, you've been through chemotherapy, you've had a mastectomy.
Right.
You're here to tell the tale,
Right.
tell other people your journey and your story.
Right.
After that, you can just
Do anything. Do anything.
Absolutely anything.
Yeah. So, just as we get ready to close out, if there's something that you wanted to share with other families, with other mothers and daughters, what would be that you'd want people to kind of hear?
Try and be open and honest with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
About how you're feeling.
Yeah, your vulnerability, I think, definitely share that.
Yeah.
You know, I think we're all vulnerable in some way, shape or form. And I think, you know, as we said about the older generation that we never heard about,
Yeah.
it was a closed shop. So be vulnerable with your daughter, you know, talk about how you're feeling and share your experiences as well.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, we talk a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
And I think as well, cancer is not a death sentence.
Right.
It's, you know, we've moved on so much in medication, and I think, you know, just kind of embrace. Do you know, health checks, attend your appointments, check your breast. I'm always saying to ladies, check your breast.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, enjoy your life, you know, definitely have fun.
Yeah. Say yes more.
Yeah. Tell your loved one that you love them every day.
Show you self-kindness as well. Yeah. Be kind to yourself and that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you both so much for coming and sharing the space with us. And yeah, you mentioned a word there, vulnerability, and something that I feel that I picked up from you was feel the fear and do it anyway. That's the message I feel that you say to your mom. Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
And I've learned that from my mum as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you all. You know, I'm hoping that you have received something from the conversations that we've had today. There's something that Sharmaine said about, you know, cancer isn't a death sentence, and that openness and that sharing of conversation and sharing of yourself with others, you know, that's what we're wanting to encourage. So I look forward to sharing space with you again and looking forward to the next people that share with me on the couch. Thank you.